is playing out of his mind. And I was joking on a show earlier today, if the Buffs were to win this, he might have to score 45 the way he's been going. But, yeah, it's too bad that the Buffs don't have both, Tristan and Cody, because I think that would really make a heck of a ball game tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the Arizona fans might not miss Tristan De Silva. He's a guy that has routinely kicked Arizona in the butt in games in the past. How is this lineup, though, been able to continue to perform at a high level without those two guys?
Well, it's a deep basketball team, and coming into the season, we thought that was going to be one of the strengths of this team. There's some veteran, depth there, and I mentioned KJ and Luke O'Brien and Javon Hadley, and so there's a guy, Julian Hammonds, another guy. There's some guys who played a lot of basketball for Colorado, and so there's great depth there. I think there's great skill. The addition of the TCU transfer, Eddie Lampkin, has been a huge, I think, plus for this team. A big body at 6'11", 270 pounds has come in. And which, by the way, is going to be an interesting matchup with he and Balo, and there are a couple of real big bodies like that. And so there's great depth here. And so that certainly has helped them kind of weather the storm. Now, both the guys we talked about could be back any game. I wouldn't be surprised if De Silva played on Saturday up in Tempe against ASU, and maybe Cody back the following Wednesday against Cal, so we're just missing them. But that depth, and I think the level that these guys have played at for a long time and the experience they've had has really kind of helped them weather the storm. And then, as I mentioned, KJ Simpson is just playing phenomenal basketball as well as anybody in the country. And so that's really helped as well.
Yeah, 21 points per game average for KJ Simpson, coming off the 34-point performance in the win last weekend over Washington State. A guy that had initially signed with the University of Arizona under the Sean Miller regime and obviously opted out of his signing to go to Colorado. Why was Colorado the right move for him after the Arizona situation for him looked like it was not going to work out?
Well, during the recruiting process, Colorado is one of the finalists, and we frequently see that if somebody does, decommit someplace or want to transfer in this day and age, or to other places they felt comfortable with. And KJ had felt very comfortable with what, Tan Boyle and this staff had done in terms of recruitment. And so when things didn't work out here down in Tucson, and there was a coaching change, and that all of a sudden made KJ, a little uncomfortable with the situation, he looked to, kind of the other school that he had really heavily considered. And it's been a great marriage. I mean, he has been a wonderful player at Colorado, would have been here at Arizona as well. What we're seeing different this year is the maturation process. Just a few years ago, we had a great point guard named McKinley Wright. By the time he became a junior, the athleticism, which had been there the whole time, then was matched by what was going on between the years. And I think that's what we're seeing with KJ. He's becoming a much smarter player now. He's more under control, making a lot of two-footed plays, making smart passes, not turning the ball over. The athleticism has always been there. Now the maturity between the years has gotten there. That's why he's so special right now.
And what are you seeing from him in terms of why he's been able to be such a more proficient three-point shooter this season?
I think just hard work, get in the gym, keep shooting. He's been streaky at times during his career. You could tell it was there. But like a lot of these guys, by the time they become upperclassmen, if they hang around that long, and put the work in, you start seeing all of that paying off. And so I think he's taking, number one, it's the work in the gym. Number two, taking smarter shots. And so not coming down and just jacking one up, coming down and finding the right circumstance to take the shot. And I think that's, shot selection's also been a big part of it. But, yeah, right now you look at the numbers, and he, like I said earlier, he's playing as well as anybody in America. The other day I had to chuckle. One of the national websites put out on Twitter, the top 30 point guards in the country, and did not have KJ Simpson. I thought, well, that's got to be an oversight because his numbers are stupid right now. And so you can't make a list of the top 10 point guards in the country, not to even mention the top 30, and not have his name in there.
Yeah, that sounds like the folks that are going to be broadcasting this game on TV tonight, not putting Tetero McMillan on their list of 100 best college football players for next season. So we know a little bit
Right.
about guys being left off of lists here in Tucson.
Yeah.
We are joined by Mark Johnson. He is the play-by-play man for the Colorado Buffaloes. He's giving you your scouting report, brought to you by Ram Plumbing. When your plumbing is in trouble, call Ram on the double. You mentioned another guy by the name of Eddie Lampkin Jr., and I think Wildcat fans will have some nightmares from him as well. Faced him a few years ago in the NCAA tournament when he was at TCU, a 20 performance? Has he been that type of dynamic double-double guy for this Colorado Buffaloes team?
Yeah, without question. Not a 2020 guy, but he's been a double-double machine.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the most points he's had at this point was 16 or 17, I think. But what he's brought is a presence. And then, Cat fans may remember this about him. He's a very good passing big man. So he brings physicality. He brings energy. He's one of those guys who's really become kind of a fan favorite. And Cat fans will remember Evan Batty, who was such a phenomenal player for the Buffs for 4 years. He's got that kind of jovialness to him that the fans kind of react to. Yeah, I joke all the time on the air. I'd love to mic him up because he's talking all the time. He's talking to other players. He's talking to officials. He's talking to the crowd. He's talking to himself. I asked one of the other guys' name. I said, "What's he talking about?" And they said, "Normally we have no ideas. He's talking all the time." And so he's got this great personality. He's a wonderful passing big man. Makes some great passes game in and game out. So he's been a very welcome addition. The Buffs don't have nearly the depth of size that Arizona has, but they've got quality size in what he brings to the table. And then, the big post guys behind him are a little bit more slender than he is. When I talk about that matchup with these two big earth movers tonight, he and Balo, those are big bodies that not everybody has. The Buffs have one of those kind of big bodies, and he's been a very welcome addition coming in from TCU.
And obviously, Tad Boyle, I mean, has been, entrenched with this program now for 14 years. I guess what is kind of special about what he's built on the basketball side there in Boulder?
Well, you got to remember now, this is my 20th season doing the Buffs, and I came here from Syracuse, and so I called the national championship there, and I get to Colorado, and basketball in Colorado at that time was it was not very well attended. It was not very well resourced. I couldn't believe what the state that program when I got there. And many people in the country, the first few years I went through a few coaches, and there were a lot of guys I knew in the coaching ranks that just said, "We're not touching that job. It's a career killer." They hired Tad Boyle, who's a Colorado guy, grew up in Greeley, Colorado, and was at that time was the head coach of Northern Colorado, which is a nowhere program at that time. And he comes in and has turned this into a consistent 20-win program year in and year out, go to the NCAA tournament, and has done just a phenomenal job. And now the last few years, he has stacked about 3 top 25 recruiting classes on top of one another, and then picks up, like I said, a McDonald's All-American and Cody Williams this year. And so just done a phenomenal job. He loves the state. He's had opportunity to go elsewhere. He stayed here for 14 years. He's going to end his career there. I joked with him one time. I said, "You can go a lot of places and get him to a Final Four, and they're going to say, 'Congratulations, you did exactly what everyone else has done.' I said, if you ever get Colorado to a Final Four, they're going to name buildings and statues after you, and every other kid in Colorado is going to be named Tad." So I said, if you continue what you're doing here, building this thing, I said, you really could become a guy that's never going to have to buy another meal in the state of Colorado. It's been phenomenal to fit, and he's done a great job with the program.
Mark Johnson is the radio play-by-play man of the Colorado Buffaloes. It's the Scouting Report brought to you by Ram Plumbing. If your plumbing is in trouble, call Ram on the double. Mark, let's get into a couple of other guys we're going to see tonight. Javon Hadley, a 6'6" senior guard. What can Wildcat fans expect for how he plays the game?
Well, they'll list him at a guard, but the truth of the matter is he's going to play along that front line. And what he is, he's a junior college kid. He's out of St. Paul, Minnesota. And he has come in, and Tad calls him the heart and soul of the glue guy in this team. He plays exceptionally hard, and there's nothing, terribly flashy about him. He just does the grunt work. He defends. He rebounds. He's going to get out in the passing lanes. And so when it's all said and done, Cat fans may go, who was that guy? What was his name? They might not recognize much about him, but he'll probably have a stat line of like 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists, and maybe a steal or 2 and a block shot. He's just one of those guys. And so he has been a great, I think, glue guy in the middle of this lineup when you've got stars out there like De Silva and Williams and KJ Simpson. I mean, he's the guy in the middle that doesn't get a lot of credit from a lot of people, but I can tell you this, his teammates and the coaching staff love him.
And it looks like it looks like it's a team that really passes the ball well, kind of like what we have with the Arizona Wildcats. And like you mentioned, you've got a great passing, a big man there, in Lampkin. But it looks like the whole team is versed at getting the ball to their teammates and scoring opportunities.
Yeah, without question. I mean, Arizona's averaging just over 19 assists per ball game. Colorado just under 19 assists per ball game. So very much like Arizona, like Tommy Lloyd's team. The ball movement is generally very sharp, and they do a good job of finding the open man. And that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. KJ Simpson, veteran player. Julian Hammond, veteran player. Luke O'Brien, veteran player, along with the stars we talked about. These guys understand the way you win at a high level and the way you beat quality programs. You know, they did that earlier this year, winning in Brooklyn, just blowing Miami out of the water and giving one of their 2 losses of the season. I think they had 23 or 24 assists in that ball game. You have to have ball movement. Stretch that defense. Make the defense move. Make them cover everybody in the field, on the floor rather, and then, you know, you can find an open shot. So they've been very good at that this season. And that's why tonight's such an intriguing matchup to me, because generally when you think about Colorado and Arizona, you think solid offense, sure, but you think very good defense. These two offenses are putting up just ridiculous numbers at times, and especially from Arizona's standpoint, considering the schedule they played against. But both teams are very efficient in not just the Pac-12, but the national leaders in offensive categories in large part, and that's why I think it's such an interesting matchup here tonight.
And obviously, Mark, you're primarily with the men's team, but this women's team that Colorado has is pretty good as well. We're going to see them Friday night at McHale Center against the Arizona Wildcats. Seeing another one of our former players, Arenat Vanale, who's really blossomed into a tremendous talent. J.R. Payne really has that team going.
Oh, she does. You know, I mean, they had such a nice run a year ago, getting to the Sweet 16, and he opened up with fairly high expectations. They scheduled defending national champion LSU in the season opener. They met them in Las Vegas and didn't just win. I mean, they blew the doors off of LSU and really kind of put the nation, on notice. And now here they are in the top 5. They've only got one loss. That was a away game against North Carolina State. They're playing phenomenal. Jalen Sherrod has been, here we talk about, the way that KJ Simpson's playing as a point guard. Jalen Sherrod's the same way for the women. In fact, last weekend on back-to-back days, they both had 34 points. So, I think Colorado, from a women's standpoint, is a legitimate Final Four national title contender. They don't have a weakness on their team. Frida Foreman's a great shooter, not a good shooter, a great shooter. And you mentioned Von Lay and a few others in the front line. I mean, it really is an impressive team, and that'll be an interesting one, obviously, tomorrow here in town.
All right. Hey, Mark, we always appreciate the chance to talk to you. Have a great call tonight here at McHale Center.
Always good to talk with you. Thank you.
That's today's 1290 Scouting Report, brought to you by Ram Plumbing. When your plumbing is in trouble, call Ram on the double. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown and Tipoff Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
The Window Depot is proud to sponsor the first look at today's game and would like to invite Arizona Wildcat fans to visit one of their Tucson warehouses. The Window Depot provides over 1,000 in-stock vinyl windows, interior and exterior doors, plus granite and quartz countertops, and a huge selection of custom cabinetry, all at the lowest prices in town. Consider the Window Depot your MVP when it comes to your home improvement needs. Stores are open Monday through Saturday, or order online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
True Wildcat fans know that when you're looking for the best place to watch all the big games on big screens, drinking cold beer and having the best food, all paths lead to Desert Diamond. Bet on your Wildcats and all your favorite teams 24/7 on our easy-to-use kiosks. Come chill on our comfy couches and build your best bet at Arizona's best bet, the Desert Diamond Sportsbook and Bar.
Enterprise of the Thana Autumn Nation.
Problem gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Desert Diamond Casino is licensed in Arizona.
Coach Tommy Lloyd here. Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is the ultimate team when it comes to your home's comfort.
Thinking about replacing your heating and air system? It's free furnace season at Right Way.
These are some of the slowest months of the year. We have equipment in stock and our crews are available.
And to spark business, we're including an 80% furnace absolutely free with the purchase of an air conditioning system.
And if that's not enough, we'll include a Wi-Fi thermostat, 10-year parts and labor warranty, plus we have 0 interest financing available.
Call or text 520-200-2422 today or visit rightwayac.com.
Savings in Selection 100 is going on right now at O'Reilly Chevrolet because we have selection, we have savings, and we have over 100 trucks, including Chevy Silverados, the #1 selling full-size pickup in Arizona. See them all at O'Reilly.com. Call 747-8000 or test drive one today on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Find new roads during Savings in Selection 100 at O'Reilly Chevrolet. More than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
See dealer for details.
Do you often worry you left the garage door open? With a LiftMaster garage door opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out.
Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates is your authorized local LiftMaster dealer. Visit KaiserDoor.com for more information.
Hi, this is Natalie Fernandez-Lee, President of Meridian Wealth Management. As a fiduciary investment firm, our clients have trusted us to guide them down their financial paths for decades. Whether you are an individual or family, business, foundation, or nonprofit, we are committed to your long-term goals and financial futures. We are proud supporters of the Tucson community and all that makes our city so special. Visit online at meridianwealthllc.com to learn more about Meridian.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Here's an important message from University Termite and Pest Control. The weather is getting cooler here, and so rodents will be seeking alternative housing. Do you need a professional? Call University Termite and Pest Control, 886-4146. They've been serving Tucson since 1974. You can be assured University Termite and Pest Control will keep you pest-free using the most responsible products and application methods. 28 school districts, 3 hospitals, 2 colleges, 1 university, and thousands of homeowners trust University Termite and Pest Control. You can too. Call University Termite and Pest Control today at 886-4146 or go to bepestfree.com.
The Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Final segment of the show as we take you to the bottom of the hour. Arizona basketball, Wildcats, and the Colorado Buffaloes. I'm David Kelly, joined as always by Kelvin Efon and J.W. Madden. Wildcats and Buffaloes will play 2 games this year. Again, they played it just one time last year, and that was a game here in Tucson. The return trip will be in February. It'll be in reverse order. When the Wildcats head down over to the Rocky Mountain Schools, they will play at Utah, in Salt Lake City on Thursday, February the 8th, and then they will play at Colorado on Saturday, February the 10th. Both of those will be nighttime contests on the road as a part of just a 2-game road set for the Arizona Wildcats. Wildcats will play just 1 game next week, and that'll be at Washington State because of the unbalanced schedule this year, and there being 2 games against the LA schools, the home and home against USC and UCLA. The Wildcats will just play 1 game on the next trip at Washington State. That'll be a week from Saturday, so they'll have a full week off between the Utah game on Saturday and the next game at Washington State the following Saturday. And then the one-off home game for the Wildcats will be in early March when they will play just Oregon here at McHale Center on March the 2nd, and they will not take on Oregon State at home this year. So unbalanced 20-game schedule with the Wildcats getting the home and home with USC and UCLA, and that's the home part of that is coming up on the next homestand. They'll take that 1-game trip to Washington State, and then it's right back here to play the LA schools. As we were talking about a couple of segments ago, the USC game is actually going to be on a Wednesday night, so they'll play Wednesday, Saturday when they come back here the 17th and the 20th of the month. 17th against the Trojans in an 8 o'clock start, and then the game against UCLA on the Saturday is still to be determined. No start time has been set on that, so hopefully we'll get a daytime affair on that Saturday. That would be nice to play an early game against the UCLA Bruins.
I'm sure they're going to do whatever they can to get as many eyeballs as possible, right?
Yeah, so I think that would be early. That remind me of when I was a kid, those early Saturday games. They didn't have cable, so that was my only chance to catch the games.
There's only, and they usually there's a 1 or 2 games annually on CBS. There's only one game this year. That'll be the home game on February the 24th against the Washington Huskies. That will be a noon start and is currently one of 2 noon home starts on the conference schedule. The other one will be that game I just mentioned against Oregon in early March. So it's always fun kind of to have that one CBS because that's always generally that prime national game that you get annually. And the Washington Huskies look like, although they were swept in the Rocky Mountain Schools last week, look like they've got a much better squad this year than they have had in recent years.
Yeah, that portal. that portal, man, get you some free agents in there pretty quick, man, so you can try to help turn things around.
All right, let's dive into our keys to today's game and what the Wildcats need to do to beat the Colorado Buffaloes.
Wildcats fans, our keys to the game are brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
All right, Arizona and Colorado at 7:30. Keys to the game. I'll start with you, Kelvin Efon. What do the Wildcats need to do to win tonight?
Well, I think first and foremost, I think they got to expect a 40-minute game. Expect the best out of Colorado today. So that's the first one. Don't underestimate your opponent. Get back to sharing the ball. Get back to assisting the ball. I want to see over 20 again. It just seemed like when we get that 20, it just seemed like great things happen. And then lastly, slow down KJ Simpson. I mean, when you're guarding a guy that either scoring or assisting on so many points that is so important to a team, you want to take special attention to that guy. And as I said earlier, I think you start with Boswell. I think you mix in a little bit of KJ Lewis in there, and you got Bradley also with his size. And so you can just change it up from a little size, physicality to speed to length, right? And you just mix it up on them and try to make it tough for them.
I'm going to give you a key to the game that maybe is a little bit off the cuff. Home energy. Home energy. The crowd needs to bring it tonight, I think, for this team to get them energized and get them going, maybe a little bit more so than what we're used to. Now, again, this will be a game. This, I believe, both these games this weekend will be the two where you're not going to have the traditional Zona Zoo, so you won't have that element, but that'll be normal folks sitting in those seats for a chance for y'all to get involved in this game and get this team going. So home energy is my number one key. My number two key is one that I talked about on Sunday, and I want to see Keyshawn Johnson back involved with this offense. I think that he has not necessarily been as involved as I would like. And when things were going good for this team earlier, it was because Keyshawn was touching the ball. Keyshawn was getting touches early in the paint. Keyshawn was then being able to maybe get outside and make some shots from distance. And I think I think he's been single digits the last 2 games. You got to get Keyshawn Johnson going, I think, to maybe take some of the pressure off some of these other guys like your Kylan Boswells and your Pella Larsons. But, again, Pella's important too. And I'd like to see Pella again. When J-Dub have talked and I have talked about this on the afternoon show, I want to see Pella becoming more of an outside threat. I want to see him be that guy that can help this team from the perimeter. So I'd like to maybe see Pella take 6 3-point shots in this ball game and see where those fall and see if you can get that aspect of this game going, because I think team 3-point shooting is eventually going to be something you're going to have to be, if not great at. You have to make like I said, I think last Sunday I said 12 would be nice, and maybe you're not going to get that every night, but I'd like to see this team be able to make maybe 6 to 9 3-pointers in every ball game. So Pella shooting some of those would be a good thing.
Yeah, to me, I think being connected on defense, number one, because that's what we saw against Stanford. It wasn't individuals. It was about the 5 guys on the court being of one brain. And we saw a lot of connectivity early in the season, especially in that last home game versus Wisconsin. Wisconsin really struggled running their stuff against that Arizona defense. I'd like to see them get back to that. Less than maybe 45% field goal percentage from Colorado. I want to see them put pressure on the rim offensively. Now, I think anytime you go out looking to draw fouls, it's a negative mindset going in. You can't do that. You can't go in saying we're going to foul this guy out. We're going to put this guy in foul trouble. No. But what you can do is say we're going to be aggressive going to the rim. And why is that? Because Colorado's depth based on their injuries recently, there just aren't a lot of guys past those starting five. So make sure that whatever you're doing, don't settle for outside looks. And just like Kelvin said and DK said, you got to make sure that you're purposeful on offense. You got to make sure, 20 plus assists is a good number. I really like this moving the ball and that secondary, passing up a good look to find a great look. It's really going to be important against that defense. Like that defense, the man-to-man pressure style defense that they play at Colorado, it hasn't changed ever since he's been up there. And you really need to make sure you work the ball around and move the defense around to get those good looks. So purposeful on offense, 20-plus assists, and I think that'll be a key to winning the game.
All right, those are your keys to the game.
Wildcats fans, that's our keys to the game. Brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
I want to go back to something that I saw just when I was reviewing the tape from the Stanford game in terms of the three-point defense. And that was something we kind of touched on, and Kelvin, you brought to the floor about when and when not to leave shooters. And I think one of the things that was very noticeable to me in the second half of that game was when the guards penetrated, you got that second guy to drop a little bit to help, leaving a shooter open. When's a good time to do that? Are there good times not to do that? Like, I mean, is kind of review a little bit of what you said on Sunday in terms of, how much if Colorado believes that they can get that double team on the penetration, is that going to continue to be a problem? How much do we want to, like you said, maybe just man up 1-1 and not have so much of that dropping into the paint area?
Well, my biggest issue, J-Dub, you tell me what you think about this ball side, is when the penetration happens ball side and you see the guy turn around the double and he turns his whole back. Our guys have been getting a lot of reaching fouls on that too, J-Dub. I don't know if you saw that. But our guys are almost reaching in with two hands. They're turning their back, losing their defender. I don't think on the ball side now, evidently that's what's being taught because I see them doing it. And I understand helping. But to me, when the guy is making and they're knocking down a couple shots, and in college basketball, once you knock down two, you're hot. And I can't risk it anymore, especially on ball side. Backside, the skip pass, it's enough time with the ball in the air for you to run over there and close out and get to your guy.
Yeah.
But to me, my biggest issue is on the ball side, turning your back and not being able to get back to guys that are already knocking shots down. I mean, I understand sticking to your principles because you want to you want to have your principles to last you throughout the season. But I think you adjust your principles depending on who you're playing against.
Yeah, that's it right there. That's it right there. Is that you got to be able to you heard Coach mention he did make adjustments against Stanford, and Stanford cut him up. They adjusted to the adjustments, right? So, I completely agree with 100% with everything Kelvin said. To me, you just have to have multiple ways to attack that offense. When you're talking about teams that are looking to get open looks, a lot of shots you'll see, DK, are not designed to get that look, right? A lot of shots, like how many times is a set run to get Pella Larson an open three-pointer? 0 of them. However, if you leave him wide open, he's going to knock that thing down in your face, and you're going to have to get out on him, open up space for Ballo. You see that a lot from the other teams that Arizona's playing. You just have to have a counter to that. So if you see some guy, Kelvin, get hot, you got to make sure that whatever it is that you're doing, however you're helping off of that, you do it. Not backside help, but you're coming from the other. But you're making sure that no matter what, you're not leaving that guy open.
And you have to force guys to make pull-up jump shots. When you double so fast, they're going to pass it. This is college basketball IQ. That's not that hard. If you double so hard, it's going to open up. We usually dig, right, JD?
Yeah.
J-Dub, where you act like you're going over. If you can get all the way over in front of the guy and get a charge, great. They're not calling those this year. You're going to get a block, right? They emphasize not giving guys those charges off ball anymore. So how advantageous is it to help from the ball side? And really a lot of times I think more so the coaches want you to fake at the guy and to force the pass, and with that fake, you are already getting back out to the guy and not allowing that catch and shoot. Because to me, the most dangerous shooter, our best shooting three, when we're great at shooting threes, the most dangerous three-point shooters is on the pass, on the catch and shoot.
I'll tell you what screwed up this Arizona defense, guys. It was Purdue. And there's a very simple reason why. It's because they played drop. Purdue, Kelvin's talking about coming off those screens and taking a little middies. That's all Purdue guards did. You might remember the threes, but they were coming off of those high ball screens, taking 2 steps inside the three-point line and launching from 16 feet. A terrible shot in most defenses, in most offensive situations. Coaches aren't going to tell you to take that shot in modern basketball. But, Kelvin, I mean, that's the shot that was available.
Now, why is that? Why is the mid-range?
Because a three-pointer's worth 3 points, and a dunk is easier to make than a 16-footer. So mid-range stuff is gone out. It's all at the rim or it's from deep.
But the only difference is with that drop coverage, it's a free throw now. It's not a jump shot, challenge jump shot with a hand in the face.
Right.
That's a tough shot.
Yep.
Right? But wide open, that's a free throw.
Yep.
That's a free throw shot right there. And so, and then I think the other thing defensively is understanding who's penetrating and what they're trying to do.
Yes. KYP, there it is, right there.
Right, what they're trying to do is they're penetrating to draw you so they can kick out to a shooter. At some point, you had to feel that as the game goes along. And I just think that, again, I feel like that's a matter of these guys getting to know each other, getting to trust the coach even more, right? Because you're still trying to execute the game plan while trying to figure out the game at the same time. I just don't feel like they are, even though they won all those games in the beginning, I still don't feel like they're all the way in sync to where they're going to be toward the end of this year.
You got to pay attention to that scout. You got to take extra time, Kelvin, and make sure you understand who's going to be on the court that you're going to go up against and know everything, know their tendencies, know what they're trying to do.
Because I say one more time, I said this last year with the new guys that we have, Courtney Ramey and some of those guys. At first, DK, when I don't know you, I don't know when you need help.
Right.
right. I barely know you, right? And so, because we haven't been around each other that much. And so when the guy go around you, I'm over helping. Because I'm overdoing my job, because that's what we do in college. Like you trying to make sure you on that court so you getting over there trying to stop that ball. Well, once you get to know each other, you're like, oh, Caleb got him. Right? Boswell got him. And then you say, Ballo got him. Now, maybe I have to drop when Ballo, if I'm backside and Ballo go over and covers up the ball, somebody penetrating, and I got to drop from backside to box out his man. But like I said before, that forces a skip pass. I could just chase that down.
All right, let's give you your starting lineups for today's game.
The foundation of a great college basketball team begins with the starting lineup. Today's starting lineup is brought to you by Rockin' K, a master plan community designed by nature.
Kylan Boswell, 1 guard, 6'2", sophomore out of Champaign, Illinois, 54 assists on the season. Boswell averaging 11 points per ball game. Caleb Love, 6'4", senior out of St. Louis, Missouri, has 20-plus points in 5 of the last 6 games. Pelle Larsson at a guard, 6'5", senior out of Nacka, Sweden, sitting on 975 career points. Is Pelle. Keyshawn Johnson, 6'7", senior out of Oakland. He is averaging on the season 12 points per ball game. And the man in the middle, Umar Ballo, 7-foot redshirt senior out of Mali, needs just 21 points for 1,000 on his career. That's going to wrap up our show for today. For J.W. Madden and Kelvin Efon, I'm David Kelly. Coming up next, it's the Colorado Buffaloes and the number 10 Arizona Wildcats. You'll hear it right here on Wildcats Radio, 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, First Choice Pools, The Good Feet Store, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Ram Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking KA Master Plan Community Designed by Nature, University Termite and Pest Control.
The Window Depot is proud to sponsor the first look at today's game and would like to invite Arizona Wildcat fans to visit one of their Tucson warehouses. The Window Depot provides over 1,000 in-stock vinyl windows, interior and exterior doors, plus granite and quartz countertops, and a huge selection of custom cabinetry, all at the lowest prices in town. Consider the Window Depot your MVP when it comes to your home improvement needs. Stores are open Monday through Saturday, or order online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
As a homeowner, you've probably seen some pretty bad plumbing problems.
Yeah, I've seen a few.
We've seen them all.
All of them?
Ram's Plumbing kept entire buildings flowing. Businesses since 1983.
Wow, so whatever happens to my house...
We've seen it before, and we have the solution. Locally owned and operated, Ram Plumbing is Tucson's most trusted plumber. Our team of licensed professionals can fix anything your home can dish out. When your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double. Online at bestplumbertucson.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rock & K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Hit the community trails, explore local parks like Saguaro National and Colossal Cave, and mingle at private Diamond Community Park events. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rock & K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 11 different model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in-ready homes and special incentives. Live RockandK.com. Designed by Nature, proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Hi, this is Tim Couch, retired NFL quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, partner at Meridian Wealth Management, and proud member of Meridian's Tucson Advisory Business Council. It's my favorite time of year, college football season. I've always been a proud Wildcat. As our firm has grown in Tucson with Ruben and Natalie Fernandez, I now cheer on 2 Wildcats every year. My alma mater of Kentucky, of course, and our U of A Cats. Here's to a great football season, and go Cats.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
For over 30 years, Tucson has been putting its trust in First Chiropractic for auto and on-the-job injuries. They're locally owned and a proud sponsor of the U of A radio broadcast. So if you've been injured, make the right choice. First.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy. My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Here's wishing you a safe and happy new year. I'm Ron Arenas, the owner of Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Don't let heating and plumbing problems spoil 2024. When you need us, make a resolution to call 520-440-4069 for honest service to the Tucson area for over 22 years. We are proud to serve you.
Frog and Firkin, a standout among the bars and restaurants in the University area. Frog and Firkin does what very few pubs can, combine a festive atmosphere and great beer with a menu that could stand on its own in any restaurant setting. A sports enthusiast dream with over 30 TVs, 30 beers on tap, and over 100 import and domestic bottles. Daily drink and food specials, and the kitchen is serving until 10. A standout in the University area. Frog and Firkin. Eat local, support local. frogandfirkin.com.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We have the Arizona Wildcats covered on game day like no one else. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Field presentation of the Arizona Sports Network.
The 1997 national champions, your Arizona Wildcats.
The future is bright, but the present is now.
Cats on the run. They've got numbers. Larson, jam it home. Bounce inside. Paulo turns, lay it up. Good, and he's fouled. Boswell on the run. 2-on-1, 3-on-1 to Larson. And Pella slams it home.
Let it rip. I mean, that's our theme. We're going to go there. We're not going to be conservative, and we're going to go for it.
Bounce right corner. Boswell for 3. It's good. Ivy right, shovel it for Baystar, who slams it home.
Arizona basketball is on the air. This is the Hughes Federal Credit Union Countdown to Tip-Off. Hughes Federal Credit Union, proud sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Analysis, commentary, and conversations with players and head coach Tommy Lloyd are all ahead. Now let's go live courtside with the voice of the Wildcats, Brian Jeffries.
Happy New Year from McHale Center, where the Wildcats are set for their conference home opener, hosting the Colorado Buffaloes. Hi again, everyone, and welcome back to Luden Bobby Olson Court for the first time since December 9th. Over the last month of 2023, the U of A has traveled to Indianapolis, Phoenix, Las Vegas, Berkeley, and Palo Alto. The Cats dropped 3 of the 5 games over that stretch against some very tough competition. Tonight, it's back home, but the opposition isn't any easier. In fact, based on the current metrics, Colorado will be one of the 2 best teams the Wildcats will face over the remainder of the regular season. The Buffaloes arrived with an 11-2 record and the best roster that Coach Tad Boyle has assembled in his 14 years as head coach in Boulder. Colorado opened play last weekend with Pac-12 wins over Washington and Washington State, both games at home. Did it without two of their best players. The Wildcats, meanwhile, split their opening weekend, beating California, losing to Stanford. Now, if you like offense, you've turned into the right game. Arizona and Colorado are the top two scoring teams in the Pac-12. Which team plays the better defense will likely determine the outcome. The Wildcats own one of the best home courts in college basketball. Arizona has won 143 of its last 161 games played in this building. Colorado isn't one of the 18 losses. Since joining the Pac-12, the Buffaloes are 0-11 in Tucson. Tonight is the last time the Buffs will play here as a member of the Pac-12. Well, we'll see how it unfolds. Arizona 10-3, Colorado at 11-2. We mentioned top two scoring teams. Arizona 92 points a game, Colorado 84. Colorado leads the league in field goal offense. Arizona's number 2 in that department. And yet, Ryan Hansen, they do it in different ways. The Wildcats, tempo. They have taken over 100 more shots than Colorado has this year. And yet, you take a look at their records and their offense, and it's very similar.
Very similar. These are very high-powered teams, but as you mentioned it, the Wildcats, it's about volume. They're trying to get high-percentage looks as best as they can, as many as they can. Colorado, extremely efficient. When you look up and down their roster, there's guys shooting over 50% from 2 and over 40% from 3, like almost at every position. That's a very efficient offensive team. It's not a volume shooting three-point team. They don't rely on the three-point shot, but boy, are they good at knocking down the shots they do take. If Arizona gives them a lot of open looks, they could be very dangerous tonight.
And the Wildcats have been giving a lot of teams open looks here of late. In particular, the second half of their 3 losses have really hurt them in that department. Tommy Lloyd's talked about it this week and saying, hey, we just got to buckle down. You'll hear him talk about it coming up in a few minutes here. And we just got to play tougher. We got to be more aggressive. And that's how the Wildcats hope to approach things tonight. So the Buffaloes have won 6 in a row, and they've done it without 2 of their best players. Tristan Da Silva missed both games last week, and he will not play tonight. He's averaging almost 16 points a game. And then Cody Williams, an outstanding freshman from Gilbert, has been out 5 games now. He will not play tonight, averaging 14 points. So between them, that's 30 points and 9 rebounds you take out of their lineup. And yet, they've won 6 in a row without them. It tells you about some of the depth that Tad Boyle has put together here, including a very familiar transfer in Eddie Lampkin Jr., who the Wildcats saw up close and personal when he was with TCU. And so I think some people and even the coaches will admit maybe the Arizona players looked at Stanford's 1-loss record last week and look at who they lost to and said, well, maybe this can't be that tough of a team. Well, you can't take guys away from a roster like Colorado and just say, oh, it's going to be easy.
Yeah, exactly. This is a team that only has 2 losses, 2 very good losses when you look at one of them against Colorado State, a 1-loss team. But as you mentioned, Eddie Lampkin is the emotional leader for this team, just like he was for the Horned Frogs a couple of years ago. He brings size and presence, not in a shot-blocking way, but in a physical presence way where he takes over the lane. But what you look at what Tad Boyle's done with this roster, NIT team last year, NIT team the year before, they took their lumps, but most of those guys have stayed together. Julian Hammond, Luke O'Brien, Javon Ruffin, and Javon Hadley, all interchangeable parts. 6'5", 6'6", strong, athletic. They can pass the ball, they can shoot the ball, they can defend. That's how Tad Boyle has kept this roster together with 2 of his bright stars on the bench.
One of the Colorado coaches talked about Eddie Lampkin. He said he is Evan Batty 2.0. He's just a little bigger and stronger, and not quite as wide body, but he's close.
Yeah, and that's saying a lot because Evan Batty did a number on Arizona up in Boulder his last game, so let's hope Eddie Lampkin doesn't have a reprise of that performance.
Wildcats, great to be back home. Now they need to protect their home court. A first of 10 Pac-12 games here at McHale Center. More of our pregame coverage coming up next. This is Wildcat basketball from Learfield.
Hey Wildcat fans, get ready for another rockin' season with a better tasting, healthier protein beverage, Rockin' Protein. Whether you enjoy a hike, jog, yoga class, or simply cheering on the Cats, you need Rockin' Protein. Locally made in Arizona, this high quality protein beverage helps you get the results you want, and it's made with real Shamrock Farms milk, so it tastes delicious with no chalky aftertaste. Look for it in the dairy case. Rockin' Protein, proud to be the official protein beverage of the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down.
Wildcat Nation. Bank like a champion. MidFirst Bank is the largest privately owned bank in the nation, meaning you get a range of products and features you need with a customer service you deserve. Being privately owned, MidFirst Bank is not impacted by the ups, downs, and double dribbles of the stock market. So bank with MidFirst today and feel like the champion of your finances. Learn more at midfirst.com. Member FDIC.
Bear down, Arizona. This is the Arizona Sports Network from Learfield.
Ready to reach your financial goals? Hughes Federal Credit Union can help you protect and grow your savings with high rates on tiered money market accounts that outperform the market statewide. We offer competitive rates based on your deposit amount. You can withdraw your money at any time without a penalty. Plus, you can feel safe knowing your principal balance is fully insured. Stop by a branch or visit hughesfcu.org/money market today. Hughes Federal Credit Union. We take you further. Insured by NCUA. Certain restrictions apply.
The sound of an ice-cold Corona is music to my ears. Oh, run that back. Dope. Now drop that beat. And hit me with the hook, player. Hey, whatever you do with your fine life, just do you, player. Relax responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
You're listening to the Countdown to Tip-Off, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union, proud supporter of the University of Arizona and home to the official Arizona Athletics debit card. Now, here's your host, Ryan Hansen.
The Cats are 1-1 in the Pac-12 Conference, having dropped their last game at Stanford, and it was a miserable performance. The Stanford Cardinal shot 58% from the field. That's the best of any opponent this season. Made 16 of 25 from the three-point line, a Stanford single-game record, and by far the most threes given up this season. In fact, you have to go back to the 17 made threes in Maui that Cincinnati dropped on Arizona in an overtime loss. The Cardinal bench, they destroyed the Wildcats, outscoring Arizona 49-28. All told, Stanford never trailed. They led for all but 44 seconds of the game. Here's Arizona freshman KJ Lewis after the loss describing the Wildcat defensive challenges.
I think it, just on our end, just a lack of communication, maybe just a lack of discipline. I think it was a team thing. Like, you know, we just weren't all on the same page. Credit to them. They moved well without the ball. They found the open man. They finished tough. They made tough shots, and I think we just go into practice either whether it's tomorrow or Monday, or tomorrow or Tuesday, and just tying things up.
It wasn't just the defense. Arizona shot the second lowest field goal percentage of the season, just under 44%. They made the second fewest free throws in just 11 and recorded the lowest number of assists on the season with just 12. Here's KJ reflecting on the poor offense that the Wildcats displayed in Palo Alto.
I think it was just a little team thing, us not moving the ball as well as we usually do, not moving without the ball, and just not trusting our fundamentals and trusting Coach Lloyd's plan.
Stanford came into the game with just a 5-6 record, but they were playing their first game of the season with all of their rotation players healthy and in the lineup. KJ Lewis goes on to describe how Stanford played so well.
Every time they play, or Arizona plays Stanford, I always watched before I was here. They play with a chip on their shoulder when they play us. Their guys get ready, they get prepared. You can see that tonight. I think we just hit the ground running from this point on.
It's now time to turn the page. The Wildcats have to look forward, and this is what KJ Lewis's thought process is moving forward.
No, for sure. It makes practice a lot different. We got to do a better job of, taking the scout and the preparation a lot better, trusting each other better, and trusting the coaching staff and what they see. We just got to be locked in on all cylinders.
Stay tuned as we prepare you for tonight's matchup with the Colorado Buffaloes. Later in the show, we'll hear from Arizona Wildcat Jaden Bradley. Tommy Lloyd will sit down with the voice of the Wildcats, Brian Jeffries, and so much more. But when we come back, it's a college basketball scoreboard update from Andrew Allison. You're listening to Arizona Basketball from Learfield.
The sound of an ice-cold Corona is music to my ears. Oh, run that back. Dope. Now drop that beat. And hit me with the hook, player. Hey, whatever you do with your fine life, just do you, player. Relax responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Fubo is the official streaming platform of Arizona Athletics. With Fubo, you can watch every Pac-12 game, plus more college and pro sports, shows, movies, and news on over 350 live TV channels. Stream it live on your TV, phone, and other devices. No cable required. The best part? You can try Fubo for free. There's no contract or commitment. To start watching, just go to FuboTV.com. That's FUBOTV.com.
Arizona basketball is brought to you in part by Barbasol. Feeling great starts with a great shave, and great shaves start with Barbasol shaving cream. For whatever your day brings, choose Barbasol. It's a can of can-do.
Are you ready? Ready to discover your soul, your wild side, your passion, your joy, and excitement? From world-class entertainment to award-winning dining, to a luxurious resort. Discover all this and more. Discover with Soul at Casino del Sol, the soul of Tucson.
The official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Enterprise of the Pasquayaqui Tribe.